Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie. I am not only a graduate student in the UEP program, but I'm also teach as part of Teach for America. So this year I worked with the College Advising Corps, and for them I basically thought of a case study that would help us understand the 5 metrics that shape college access and performance in order to inform the work that they do. Right, so the research question that I looked at: how are some of the current institutions in place in Providence shaping college access and performance? So the literature says that there are 5 key skills that shape college access and performance. So college knowledge, aspiration / the attendant gap, content knowledge and basic skills, core academic skills, and non-cognitive and behavioral skills. So college knowledge right now is something that the College Advising Corps is addressing. Content knowledge and basic skills, as well as core academic skills, is the domain of schools. And finally, I looked a little bit at what the literature said about non-cognitive and behavioral skills. So first thing first, what is the College Advising Corps? So College Advising Corps is a national organization that helps low-income, underrepresented, and first-generation students enter and remain in college. Basically, they are a non-cohort model that goes into schools and supports those schools, supports guidance at these schools. And the Brown University College Advising Corps is present in 13 high schools all around Rhode Island. So how are they addressing college knowledge? They're basically helping students navigate the admission process. They're collaborating with schools to foster a college-going culture. They're also helping with FAFSA, scholarship application, and also for those students who decide not to go to college, they're also supporting them in other post-secondary ventures. All right. So what we notice nationally is that students are aspiring more to go to college, and we can see that in the amount of students going to college. So the national enrollment in 1980 was 40%. In 2005, it was 80%. In Rhode Island, it's about 59% in 2015, and 2017, it was 65%. So going to college is great, but we also need to make sure that students are remaining and they're graduating. So in order to ensure that, we need to make sure that they have the content knowledge, the basic skills, and the core academic skills to be able to succeed in these spaces. So what I did is I looked at one approach that Providence Public Schools is using right now, which is blended and personalized learning, to see if that approach is actually leading to an increase in content knowledge. So I asked the question, can blended and personalized learning lead to better PSAT scores? Because PSAT score here for me is my proxy for content knowledge. So some background information. So I didn't just use any type of blended and personalized learning. I looked particularly at the Summit platform. It's a new approach to blended and personalized learning. It's a platform. It's used by 380 schools and over 72,000 students all across the US. And there are 3 components to it: mentoring, project, and self-direction. Every student who uses the Summit platform has access to an electronic device, and for PPIC school, it is a Chromebook. So how it works is that 30% of the grade is self-directed, and 70% is project, where the teacher leads the students, is a facilitator in these projects. Okay. So just some background on the school in which I did this analysis. So it is a school that has about 85% of students eligible for free and reduced price lunch. 22% of students are English learners, and 11% are receiving special education services. So the study that I set up, we have the current juniors who took the PSAT in October 2018, and these juniors have been using Summit since their freshman year. So freshman year in 2016, they were using Summit, their sophomore year in 2017 using Summit, and finally their junior year in 2018, they were using Summit. I'm comparing them to the juniors who took the PSAT in 2017, and these juniors have been using the traditional models for all 3 years. So since 2015, when they came into schools, they were using the traditional model. I did a regression. So the predictor that I was interested in is Summit. So whether or not you were in Summit, did it affect, is that associated with higher PSAT scores? And I am assuming that the 2 groups are by nature the same in expectation, which is a fair expectation. Also, I controlled for, I have a series of student level characteristics, so such as if you're an L, if you're special ed. So this is what I found. in general, is being on Summit associated with an increase in PSAT scores? I found that it's not statistically significant, so there were no statistically significant changes in PSAT scores. As you can tell, even if we look at the math change between the two groups, the reading score, or just the overall score, all the p-values are greater than 0.05, so no statistical significance here. However, there are some major concerns. Obviously, this is not a causal study. Okay, happy class. Also, it's just one high school. And also, the Summit has only been in implementation for a few years, so we can't really say. It takes time for a curriculum to really hit the ground running and really have an effect. So we can't say that 3 years is enough for us to really see an impact. All right. So not only now, the last factor that I think is very important when you're considering college going and shaping really student performance in college is finally non-cognitive behavioral skills. So some skills that I looked at are consciousness, self-control, grit, growth mindset. So all kids who have these skills tend to have do their homework more. They ultimately just have higher achievement. They score better on just tests in general. And when they're faced with academic challenges, they handle that a lot better. So what I found also interesting in the literature in general is that after infancy and early childhood, non-cognitive skills are actually more amenable to direct intervention than cognitive ability. I'm very just interested in grit in general, and I found these strategies to improve grit, which I thought were interesting, which is learning in digital stories, adolescent literature, choice maps, in general, just having like sports and extracurricular just to increase grit. Finally, so for the College Advisory Corps, I was thinking, how could they step into school and have a bigger presence? And I think one of the ways they can really have a bigger presence is to support school-wide efforts to increase non-cognitive skills. So obviously, the schools have a big effect in the other 4 factors that I had mentioned, but I think the College Advisory Corps can really step into a bigger role and have like more school-level activities that really support that fact. So yeah, thank you.